Howdy, 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 everybody. Day after Thanksgiving. Hopefully, everybody had a good Thanksgiving. It's turned into a cold one here today. Come out this morning, 25 degrees. But doing some work out here, had the heater going. And, well, I've decided to take some of these rear axles, rear differentials that I've been kind of hoarding from junkyards and stuff before they got crushed. And a couple I pick up along the way. And we're going to narrow them down to A-body, Duster, Dart, Demon, Dart Sport, Swinger, Scamp, Spec. I already did this one here. It's still in rough cut, but it's got the hard part done. Okay. So we'll see if anybody shows up since this is a live feed. There's nobody in here in the moment. At least it doesn't show anybody. And we'll just have a little friendly discussion about what we're doing, what we got going on. It is, like I said, a cold one out here today. I kind of wish I had the heat I had at the old garage. It was on gas. But here the gas is too far away and it just, I don't know. We use it on the house, so I'll just use that little propane heater right now. But, so what I got here, this is an E-body rear diff. Hello, got somebody in here, that's cool. Hi, how you doing? And we see we got these green stripes here. It's just green tape, frog tape, whatever. And the area between them is what needs to be cut out. Now this differential is the same width, E-body. It's the same width as a 66 C-body. That's what this one was. So they're actually the same perimeters as far as what you cut out. So, and what that is 1 inch and 7/8. So I have a band that I made out of a piece of paper just for a marker here. So you measure flange to flange to where my fingernail is there. So the same thing on the other side. Don't include the gasket. And see, this one's been hit. I'm going to have to straighten it out so we come up here where it is straight. And subtract the difference of an 8 3/4 A-body rear differential, which is 52 5/8. So when you subtract it, do all your math, this is the difference. But you're going to get times 2. So it's like 3 and something. So you split that in half. So it was actually 3.875. All right. That's what you're going to get. And then you're just going to simply fold it in half. And that's what you're going to take off of each side. So there's that one there. This is not a drive shaft. This is a rear differential. So if you look at this car here, I know you got the tarp on it right now. You're looking at that bit right there. This one was cut down as well. That came out of a 66 Polara or Monaco. And it's the same difference. That's it's like the standard 1 inch and 7/8. All these rear axles I get are the same width. Now they're not all going to be the same width, so just keep that in mind. To get one out of a B-body, it's going to be a little narrower than what those are, but it's just you have to subtract the difference from what you have, from what you want to what you want to go to, and then that's what you're going to have here. So I already did that one, and this is my stack of tubes. So this one came out of that one over there. The car and the tarp is a 72 Duster. And the reason you can cut a lot of these down is because this particular model of differential was not readily available in these. I mean, they were, but they were very limited. So 50 years down the road, there's not a lot of them left, or there's just not a lot of them, period. So thing to do is just take the differential from cars that are available, that are in the junkyard or something, and then you can take and simply, because you have all the bearing surfaces here in this whole end cap, and you just cut it out here where everything's just a standard piece of pipe, and then bring it in and re-weld it. But you have to make sure everything's squared up, that the axles will not bind. That's why we have this bar, and that's why we have these slugs right here. So what you do, well, we better do it because see, the studs are in here. So the studs have to come out temporarily. And then they fit in here. And then you'll snug them up like that. And then you have, third member also has these in it. You take that, you slip it in here, you tighten it down. Then that bar runs through 1, 2, 3, 4 points. This bar right here. And as long as you can turn it freely, you're straight. And then you go to tack it up and make sure it doesn't move around on you. Then you weld it up. If everything's still turning, then you're good. So you're wondering how a drive shaft works. The drive shaft connects to this part here. Now this is at the back of the car, right? So if I plug this up on there, this will be on here. There's your U-joint, and then it connects your drive shaft to there. It's really just a tube with 2 joints on them. You'll have another one of those joints on the front part. Then that slips into the transmission here. And then when this thing turns, obviously it turns the drive shaft, which turns the gear set, which converts it sideways into your axles. And then you get that. So that's your basic answer for how drive shaft works. Now this part here is a little more complicated, but in all, everything has to be balanced. If you cut a drive shaft down, which I don't recommend doing that at home unless you have equipment to do it right, because they're kind of free turning, so you get high RPM, they're gonna want to wobble. So you want somebody like a drive shaft shop, a truck shop, to do that. Then they'll balance it and get it right. This it takes some precision as well. You got to have the tools, and we do have the tools. That's what all the slugs are for, and then the bar. And you got to kind of know what you're doing. Like if you go to cut this down, see, this is actually upside down right now. That's right side up, okay? And it used to have the perches on there to mount them to the leaf springs. I've cut those off though. But when you cut these off, you want them to be in line so that the brakes, when you put them on, are not cockeyed or anything. So usually you can just drag a strike down through here, and when you cut it and shorten it down, you can just bring your line back together with this side. That way all of this is kind of the point here. And see, it's usually just a little hair of that center. So there's some things you just got to keep in mind. You do make a mess, all the dust, but if you have the tools, it's not a big deal to make some of these. Now, if you're doing it just for one time, it's probably not worth it, because you're going to pay for the kit, and then by the time you pay for the kit, you might as well go buy one that's already been made like this. Yeah, motorbikes, yeah, it's got a little different principle. This is all the part that the motorbike doesn't. I'm not going to say it doesn't have it all. It has some respect of it, but it's usually just built into the wheel and the gear set and stuff like that. So this is where it is a little different. Because this car had, the rear that these cars have usually when you buy them, just a basic car, is like real small. They're not real sufficient for horsepower. Those are. So you usually get rid of the little toothpick rear end and make your own, or put whatever's more suitable. This car has a rear in it that's okay. It's that bolt-on style, which that's subjective. It just depends on what model or what. But I have one of these that was a factory version for that car, so I won't have to do the cutting and all that. I just have to install it. So that's when we get down to that car. So that's what's going on. Looks like we got kind of a new crowd here, or maybe just checking us out on the feed, I guess, and that's cool. So hopefully you find something you like here on Indiana Garage, and maybe you learn something, or maybe you like to follow some of the cars. These are a couple of cars we got going on. Now it's cold and windy out, but we'll show you our van that we built a few years ago. Here's our van. So we're into this stuff, mostly Mopar, Dodges, Plymouths, stuff like that. But with that said, if anybody is needing an 8 3/4 rear for their A-body Mopar like this, Duster, Dark, Sport, whatever, let us know. Maybe I'll cut you a deal on a housing here. And if you need the purchase put on, we can do purchase as well. I just had to order some. But as is, they're going to be kind of like this, and then you can, I'll probably go ahead and blast it, prime it, but we can leave it to where, however you want. Oh, he's curious about the logo. Yeah, let's see. Let's see. There you go. So, like I said, that's the spec of this now. I'm just going to clean it up. We'll probably blast it, prime it, and then if somebody needs it, we'll sell it. If you need the purchase on there, I can get some, put them on there for a little extra. But that's all that's going on today. It's going to start getting cold. I'm going to turn the heater back on. We're going to cut these guys off. Just cut those bands out right there. That'll be your difference. And then we got to mock it all up, jig it all together, make sure everything's straight. And we'll weld her up, and we'll have 2 of these here. And I got another one in the other barn that's actually been cut off, like right here. It's just this section, so we'll have to get some pipe. And there's your, what is the spec on this? I can't remember. I think it's 3.5, and it's 5/16 or something. I think okay, it's a full 1/4 inch wall, and it is 3-inch outside diameter. And if it matters, it's you do it right here. I have to steady it so I can get it accurate. That's where they weld it, right there down the middle. Let's see. It's somewhere around 2 5/16, 2 3/8, somewhere in there. But if you get the outside diameter and you got the 1/4 inch wall, that's what you're going to be getting right there. You can go to plumbing supply places and get however much you need. You probably only need about 1.5 feet on each side, so you can be safe, get 4 feet. And then you got to get your ends. You can buy the ends aftermarket, buy those new, or if you get one of these that's been completely just demolished, but the ends are good, you can cut the ends off nice and square, and then use those and figure in your difference. So anyways, that's what we got going on today. We'll leave the video up for a bit. If y'all want to comment on any of this, let me know. But we'll be getting to work, y'all. Thanks for watching the Indiana Garage. Till next time.